I am Luigi.
And I'm Jax.
And we are Release Your Sound. And we are so glad to have you today. Today we've got a special guest with us, Mr. Gregory Singer. Gregory, say hi.
Hello, everybody. Hello, America. Hello, world.
Thank you, Gregory, for
I'm
coming.
honored to be on your show. I'm honored to be on your show. I mean, I want to release my sound, and I think that's the name of your show, is Release Your Sound. Right, everybody? I got a room full of people here. A couple of dogs and cats, too. They're all excited that I'm on your show today, and I'm really, really thrilled to be here. So, release your sound, and there you are in person. You're superstars. It's great to see you.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you. And we've got our New York...
I'm talking to you.
Yes, we got our New York cups just for you.
We actually got...
Oh, how nice.
We got these cups
that's pretty cool.
Just before we met you, and that's a cool story. How did we meet you, Gregory? Can you tell the story?
Well, yes, it was actually pretty amazing. I was playing music at this very unusual place, and all of a sudden I see two people dancing and smiling, and with huge, like, rainbows and love signs, hearts above their head. And I said, boy, these people are just, they're in love, and there's love emanating from every pore of their body. So when the song finished, I walked over and said, like, excuse me, hello, who are you people? What planet are you from? And they mentioned that they were passing through New York City, and I mean, it was just, the rest was like magic. Couldn't believe it. And what was really amazing about our exchange was that later, even when by chance, I just decided to say hello a few days later, even just to maybe send a picture or photograph or something that we took, because we had exchanged some contact information. You mentioned that, hey, we were talking about you. Maybe we can do a little something. So, well, here we are. So
yes.
It was totally unexpected. And just because of music, because of love, these two people stood out way above the crowd. And I'm so happy that we reached out together. It was wonderful.
Yeah, you know, I'm a musician, like you know, and I've been around a lot of musicians. So when I came down and I heard you guys played, I was like, man, these guys can play, man. They do jazz. They are good. They are tight. I was in awe. You guys are exceptionally skilled, and I want to thank you for sharing your gift, you know, the way you do to everybody that connects with you. It's so precious. Tell us more. Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's nice that you noticed. You're very modest, because I certainly know who you are, and you're a great guitarist and singer and composer, songwriter. I mean, you told me when I first met you, oh yeah, you're a musician. You're an entertainer. You do everything. So, I mean, you're extremely modest, but you do know that to speak the language of music and the way we do it, with the group that you heard, it's a language, and it's definitely a work always in progress, always getting better. You know, I started violin at age 4.
Wow.
So I've been playing violin, let's just say, for at least 40 years. Let's say maybe 50 or 60 years. So basically, you know, people should really know that musicians, had they been studying law or medicine, would be the most distinguished, successful people in our community, in our civilization.
Yes,
but in a way, they're left out. Many times they play for free or for very little money, and they teach each other the music a little bit, but they ask, can you play for free, or would you like to come play for our party? But really, these musicians, the good ones like yourself, have spent hundreds and hundreds of hours.
Yeah. Did you know that, just taking it back to the Bible, that the musicians that played with David, they had to play their instruments for 25 years before they could even qualify to be a part of the band. There you go. And there are violin makers that spend a year chiseling on blank pieces of wood before the master maker would give them the proper knife or chisel to start to carve a violin. There's a certain discipline. I know in the Asian kind of tradition, they had to do all kinds of things, carrying a bucket of water up an icy mountain in snow before they could start to study martial arts or something. You know, I mean, there's tremendous, it shows their devotion and their discipline. And once they prove that, then they're able to start building a guitar or a violin or study the Bible or, you know, something, that kind of thing. So you're right. Yes. Discipline is very important. It is important. And on that note, we're going to just take a break and jump to one of your songs that you sent us to everybody to listen to. And just so they can hear your incredible skill, and enjoy in the joy of listening to your music with us. And we'll be back just after this.
And we're back. Wow, that was amazing. That was a beautiful piece from Gregory and his orchestra. Will you tell us about that piece and what it took? And you mentioned that you played that in Russia. What? I would love to hear more.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Well, there's many ways to approach that, but it is in the inspiration. Sometimes I wake up from sleep with a melody in my heart, and if I'm not worthy, I lose it. I don't remember it later. If I turn the radio on, it may be too late. So I quickly get up and I write it down, and then I can develop it later. And of course, if I wake up maybe 2 or 3 days later with another melody, I may add that melody to the first melody. And it's sort of like when people build a house, they just add a new room on, sometimes later for a child's room, or maybe they want to build a bigger kitchen or a different room. They add a new room on their house. So I add a new melody to my song. So I had the first melody, which is kind of mellow and dramatic. And then I went to the piano, began figuring out some chords. I'm not a great pianist, so it took me a while. And what was amazing is that one of the musicians in my orchestra, who came from Russia, had a connection with somebody in Russia. And quite simply, he played the music for the man in Russia, and they really loved the melody, and they were doing a very big, like a kind of memorial kind of concert. It might have been 50 years since the war, it might have been 70 years, 75 years since the Leningrad siege, and that's where the Nazis surrounded Leningrad. And the people were starving to death, and a lot of brutality and death and all that going on. And so I was able to fly to St. Petersburg, Russia, and do this concert. And I'm telling you, to see how the music united everybody and how the audience loved it. Here's this fellow from New York City coming out there playing his music with this Russian orchestra who didn't speak a word of English, most of them. It was very, very touching, and I felt very blessed. And again, I never could have dreamed that. A month or two before that, never would have dreamed that was going to happen.
Wow, I just love how, music it's connected to time, and it's connected to events in this world, and how kind of our music tells our story, right?
Absolutely.
I love, because one of the first videos you sent us of you was where you were playing on Fox TV. You were playing a song that you wrote for Trump, and you were playing a song that you did for the Pledge of Allegiance, because they kind of took that out of the schools. Tell us more about that.
That's correct. When I was in the grammar school or grade school, I was in Portland, Oregon, and I used to love to put my hand on my heart and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. And all the kids would say it, no matter where they were from, and the teacher had a different voice, sometimes a very deep voice as a grown man, or a higher voice as a grown woman. And it was very funny to hear all these kids just reciting with the teacher, I pledge allegiance to the flag. It was very unified. We felt like we were all part of the same family.
Oh yeah.
So years later, they said they were not going to do the Pledge of Allegiance anymore in school, and I felt very bad. Well, one day I woke up from my sleep with this melody in my head, and you wouldn't believe this, and you're going to probably hear it at some point, but the lyrics to the Pledge of Allegiance fit perfectly with the melody.
There we go.
And I couldn't believe it. I began singing it, and then later, when the Pledge of Allegiance lyrics were finished, I continued with my own lyrics, and literally before I even got out of bed, I already had finished the song, which was partially written by itself, of course.
That's brilliant.
But I don't know if you you would hear that song. You're going to play it for your listeners, perhaps.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, of course. So you'll see how it fit together. But then I met a fellow, just random fellow. I'll take a break if you want to ask a question, but I want to tell you how I got that composition to Fox. But I'll let you ask me something else if you like.
So I would like to interject here and just ask you, as a musician, what is some advice you would give kids, young aspiring artists, to say, hey man, capture the moment you're in, write your music. How important is that? What would you say?
It's a very good question. It's a very wonderful question, because what it does, it makes the moment very important, and it makes the music very important. So if a young person or an older person is playing on a harmonica or a drum or an oboe or a violin or a guitar, even a couple of chords, a couple of notes can be sacred. And they have an idea. Let's say they feel happy or they feel sad. They should not take it for granted. They should try to expand it, try to write it down, ask a friend to write it down, and be disciplined about it. If you forget about it or you don't do that, you'll lose it. Turn on the radio, you hear some other music, before you know it, it's lost.
True.
So in order to really see the beauty around you and to take yourself, even if you're not a great musician, take yourself serious. Maybe some spirit is singing to you or reaching out to you. Maybe it's an inspiration from God. So don't take it so lightly. Just because you're not a professional musician. No. I would say take that moment seriously, and that's why the question is so nice. Make the most of it. It's a blessing to have ears and eyes and fingers to be able to make that sound. In many religions, the sound is very sacred. So I would say, yes, take that moment, those 2 notes, 3 notes, and turn it into a song, and put some lyrics to it, and you'd be amazed. I was amazed how this thing fit together. I had faith, and it came to me. I was worthy.
That's awesome. I love how you say we are worthy. And with that, I'd like to end off this first show, because we'd like to do another one with you. And just say, man, there you have it, out of the mouth of the maestro himself. You are worthy. God is speaking to you. Take yourself seriously. And write that music. Let's do it. Let's get it done. Be inspired. So be sure to check in with us on Louis and Release Your Sound with Louis and Jax. ReleaseYourSound.com, on our social media, Release Your Sound Collective on YouTube and Instagram. Looking forward to seeing you, and we're playing you out with the Pledge of Allegiance. Enjoy.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, and liberty and
Tune in every week during the same time to Release Your Sound radio show.
Find us on Apple Music and WDRB Media,
The voice of the community.